I'm Joris Hoste and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Faculty of Economics here in Cambridge. Today I will talk about a recently published paper called The Impact of a Large Depreciation on the Cost of Living of Rich and Poor Consumers that also features in the working paper series of the Janeway Institute. There is increasing evidence that international shocks, such as trade liberalizations or large currency depreciations, may affect the welfare of rich and poor consumers differently. One way in which this can happen is if there are certain consumers that spend relatively more on categories whose overall price level increases by more. Think for instance about the recent increase in gasoline prices hitting especially poor consumers. Our paper shows that even within spending categories, rich and poor consumers can be differently affected because they also differ in the specific products they buy. In particular, we highlight two mechanisms. First, if, for instance, rich consumers buy more imported products and if prices of imported products change by more, rich consumers will be affected more by the change. Second, the set of products that is available might also change. And when entering and exiting products appeal differently to different consumers, their welfare might be differently affected as well. To provide evidence for this, we studied the depreciation of the Kazakh tenge in 2015. Following downward pressure on international commodity markets, the Kazakh National Bank switched from a fixed to a floating exchange rate, leading to a currency depreciation of 60%. What do we find? Although the marginal cost of imported products increased as expected following the depreciation, we show that the distribution sector stabilized the prices of imported goods relative to local goods by reducing the profit margins on imported goods relative to local goods. Instead, we find that changes in the set of available goods drove the distributional effects of the depreciation. In particular, we find that goods that entered appealed relatively more to rich consumers, and the ones that exited appealed relatively more to poor consumers, leading to a stronger welfare loss for poor consumers. The key takeaway of the paper is that the unequal welfare effects of international shocks can also arise from different spending patterns within categories, and that changes in the set of available goods can shape these unequal effects in important ways.